Welcome inside another edition of Vikings Update. I'm Mark Potts, Sports Information Director at Valley City State. Our guest later in the show this week, Ryan Montgomery, head men's basketball coach. We'll talk about the season and the home stretch coming up for them. But first, let's get to track and field, where the Vikings had their first national qualifier of the season. Record-setting day for Siri Geisler at the Bison Open last weekend. Shot put throw of 13.19 meters, which is a new school and conference record, breaking her own school record from last season. It's also far enough to earn Geisler a spot at the NEI National Meet in March. She was also named the NSAA Indoor Field Athlete of the Week. Other top 12 results from the Bison Open, which featured several large schools. Megan Johnson doubled up in the jumping events with 7th and 8th place finishes, and Macy Dimmler placed 12th in the 60 hurdles. On the men's side, Lenzel Cascella set 2 new personal records as he placed 7th in the 60 and 11th in the 400. Oscar Suniga set what is believed to be a school record in the 300-meter dash, and Isaiah Tivis placed 12th in the 60. Oren Rambo and Jalen Sibley each had an 11th place finish, and Martin Mena took 13th in the mile. Viking Track will send a few athletes to the SDSU Indoor Classic this weekend, and then it's back to Brookings next weekend for the NSAA Indoor Conference Championships. Viking basketball was at Viterbo University on Friday. VCSU women picked up their 18th victory of the season with a 62-57 win. Lexi Lennon led VCSU with 22 points. Vikings are now 18-7 overall and 9-3 in conference play. Good for third place with 4 games left. Road weekend coming up for the Vikings as they face Bellevue University on Friday and Dakota State on Saturday. On the men's side, Vikings could not pick up the victory at Viterbo, falling 66-58. Austin Dunbar, though, had a monster double-double, 15 points and 19 rebounds in the loss. VCSU men are now 14-12 overall and 6-6 in conference play, sitting 5th in the North Star standings. Road trip weekend coming up Friday at Bellevue and Saturday at Dakota State. Both are teams that the Vikings lost to earlier this season. Softball season officially here as VCSU begins this weekend with 4 games at the Presentation College Dome. Vikings will face Northern State, Presentation College, Minnesota Crookston, and Southwest Minnesota State. And last week was National Signing Day as VCSU football announced 14 recruits who have signed for the 2017 season. They include Sean Belke from Maple Valley High School, Chance Breno from New Rockford, Cheyenne, Drew Jacobson out of Valley City, Ryan Pales out of Dilworth Glendon in Minnesota, Lewis Russell from Wilmer, Minnesota, Berkeley Santos from Lansford, North Dakota, Tyler Smith from Parkers Prairie, Minnesota, Sully Bruckheimer from Laverne, North Dakota, Levi Nix, also out of Valley City, David Dominguez, a native of El Paso, Texas, Tate Engett, Stanley, North Dakota, Ramonte Menard from Rochester Technical College in Minnesota, Jonald Jones from Minnesota State in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, and Levi Hirschkorn from Lemoore. Recruiting ongoing for Viking football. We'll have more names to announce in the coming weeks. Joined on this week's edition of Vikings Update by Ryan Montgomery, head men's basketball coach here at Valley City State. And coach, we are hitting the so-called stretch run of conference season, 4 conference games remaining. Your team right in the thick of things right now, 14-12 overall, 6-6 in conference play. First off, just your general thoughts on the way the season's gone for you so far.
I thought it's gone pretty well. Our guys have responded pretty well to all the challenges that we've seen. We've had injuries, we've had ineligibility, we've had just a variety of things that have come our way, and I'm proud of our guys. We've had that next man up mentality all year. And where we sit right now is we've put ourselves in position to get a home playoff game, and now we just have to play really well down the stretch.
Yeah, currently 5th in the conference standings, just a half game back of 4th, which would earn you that home playoff game. Tough road trip coming up, though, Friday night at Bellevue University, Saturday at Dakota State. Talk a little bit about this road trip and what it means for your season.
Very tough. I think the toughest all year. Bellevue, they're playing extremely well at a very high level, especially at home. I think they just handled Dickinson State down there pretty well. They play at a really high level down there. Then they're going to come out right from the get-go, try to get in your shorts, and they're going to try to rush us a little bit. And we have to respond to that. We have to work on that. That has been one thing that's given us problems this year. So we've challenged the guys early this week and said this is what it's going to be. Now we have to perform better when those challenges arise. Dakota State embarrassed us the first time. I think that was the only conference game that we've lost by a large margin this year. And they did a really good job on Jaden Ferguson. They put a smaller guy on him, Tanner Heiser, who's a really tough kid. And we have to realize that might do that again. I mean, that recipe worked. So we're working on that right now. 2 very good teams, though. Like I told the guys, it's you can play really, really well down there and still lose, which is not a bad thing, right. But it's going to be challenging, and that's what conference play is all about.
It's that time of year when coaches talk about wanting to be playing their best basketball as they head into the postseason. With 4 games left, are you guys getting close to thinking playing some of your best ball?
I think so. I really do. We still are learning. The system is close to being in, but it's not all there yet. Our guys are still learning certain things about how we play. There's a very fine line for mistakes in what we do. But they are getting really, really, really close, and I've been proud of them in regards to that. We just have to take one more step in surrendering ourselves to the program, and we've been talking about that. And again, it's just another step. Like I told the guys, it's not something to feel negative about. It's just another step, and that's where at least we're not taking steps back. We're taking steps forward.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Night in, night out, there's nothing given in this conference, so looking forward to seeing how you finish.
Thanks, Mark.